Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm so happy to have you join me. Gosh, guys, if you were here for yesterday's reading when I used the new angel deck for the first time, I just want to let you know that I was continuing to talk to the creator throughout the day yesterday, and she got to see all of your comments on the video about the cards, and it really touched her. And so thank you, guys. You always extend such beautiful generosity in your comments. And you know, it was just touching how much those comments meant to her. So again, if you are interested in winning a tarot deck, you can by commenting on yesterday's video, today's video, and tomorrow's video. You have to live in the United States. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about international postage. And the cards got lost in France on the way to me. So I'm hesitant to do that. And so if you live in the continental United States, write a comment. If you are a member of my membership channel, you will get 2 entries for every comment. And yeah, I will be announcing the winner in a community post on Tuesday. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for those beautiful comments and just always extending such generosity through your words on this channel. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate it, but it's just such a beautiful thing to see the way that it touches someone else who has been so kind and so generous herself. Really lovely. Okay, so we're going to dive into today's reading. If you are new here, welcome. I am very happy to have you here. These are general readings, so just keep that in mind. Take what resonates and leave the rest. All right, so here we go for Pisces. For Pisces, please, Spirit. For Pisces, what does Pisces need to know right now? Okay, wow, you guys, contest with beliefs. And we are having this giveaway. Wow, okay, so capable and visualize truth. Let me just, man, you know, I'm getting sort of a really tired energy here. It's like, wow, you guys, capable. What a word. When we understand our capability, when we understand our own capacity to really make things happen, to not just survive but to thrive, when we really begin to uncover what we are capable of, it's pretty remarkable. It's pretty incredible. And you know, we often talk about suffering as a teacher, right? And how, you know, when we move through a space of suffering, it often puts us in touch with what we're capable of. And oftentimes that's because, you know, until we're challenged, until we are up against something that forces us to be stronger than we knew we could be, we don't know we are capable of being that strong, right? So there's just, it says on the card, you can deal successfully with whatever challenges and circumstances arrive, like you're capable. And then you're getting visualized. When we develop our abilities to visualize, we can manifest maximum influence over the experience of our reality. You know, okay, I think you guys know about me. I listen to probably a lot of podcasts. I watch, you know, like Eckhart Tolle and Michael Singer and Tara Brach and, you know, my YouTube gang. And they're always constantly encouraging me to grow and to heal and to, you know, release any of the barriers that I've built within me against my own limitlessness, you know. I do yoga, I meditate, and, you know, sometimes it feels like, but yet I will still have moments where I am just very, very, very human, where I I feel like, wow, I probably could have done better, or in retrospect, or the podcast the day after will be, about almost that same subject, or will almost feel like it's calling me out, like there was a better answer, or there was a better solution, or, I could have done something differently that may have been more beneficial. But, and so in that way, sometimes when you're almost sort of challenging yourself with growth, or when you're opening yourself up to the possibility of sort of living your life in a different way, or in a better way, or improving things, or expanding your knowledge, or seeking enlightenment, sometimes, there are these sort of nauseating moments where it's like you just want to throw it all away and not listen to any of it, because you're trying, you're doing your best, you're human, you're trying to take in all this information, trying to keep it straight, trying to integrate it, trying to work through it yourself, for yourself, trying to tap into it in the moment when you need it. We're not in a perpetual state of challenge. Thank God we are not, but we are not. And so you may learn something, or hear something, or understand something, or, come to a place where you're like, wow, I'm so connected with that. And then sort of come across the challenge a month, 2 months, a year later, and have not be tapped into that same sort of wavelength, right? And you might do something that really makes you feel anxious. Like, usually that's how I feel. If there is a part of me intuitively that knows that I didn't do my highest and best in a situation, what I will do is I start to feel anxious, because there's a part of me that feels like whatever the experience was took me off my place of center. And when I'm not on my place of center, I feel anxious. And so for me, it always starts like that, where it's like I feel uncomfortable about what I said, or I feel uncomfortable about what I did, or I feel uncomfortable about the way I handled something, or, it's just, there's an unsettling feeling. And it sort of feels like, then you'll hear the podcast, or you'll tap into that information, or someone will remind you of that. I actually, I love my friends. I just love them for a multitude of reasons. Like, they're really amazing people. But and I mean, I honestly kind of feel that way about everyone, but my friends in particular, we have been friends for a long time, and there's something about that where people remember the things that you said. One of my very best friends, well, probably is my best friend, he's a Pisces. He always keeps journals. Like, we're creative. Most of my friends are creative, and he's a director and like an artist. He's brilliant. He's just like, let me just put that out there. He's brilliant. Anyway, he keeps these notebooks, and he's always working on shows, on installations, on like whatever. He's working on things all the time. So he has these notebooks, and sometimes he will literally write down something that I say. And the other day, he sent me something that I had said in like 2015. And it was something about fear being our greatest opportunity. And it was so funny, because like I had forgotten that I said that, I would not have remembered, and I don't even know what the context was, except, a lot of times, like as a photographer, and especially photographing theater, it's pretty much in the dark, and photography is recording light. And so in order to, you're pushing the boundaries of your equipment, you're pushing the boundaries of yourself, you're kind of moving beyond the sort of the limitations that are put there for you. This is why I love being a creative. This is why I love being a photographer. But it for one thing, it has always challenged me to listen to my intuition. Where do I feel like I need to be to get this shot? How many shots am I going to take of this? There's so many things like that really, it's just, it becomes intuitive after so many years of doing it. But I remember, different shows where they were almost like completely black, and there would just be one outline, and I would, oftentimes I get one chance, one chance to get it, you know, in shooting theater, because I shoot live. And so I remember there was a production of Woman in Black, and it was dark, dark, dark. And the lighting director came to me and he was like, I don't know how you're going to do it. I really don't. And he also dabbled in photography, and he was just like, yeah, I don't know how you're going to do it. And, you know, because there's like hardly any light. And it was such a challenge. I mean, in the show, just the material of the show, and just, it's just nothing that I would ever watch or really like want to be immersed in. It's heavy and it's dark, and so were the pictures, and so was the energy, and it was crazy. But I did it, and that was kind of the context in which I was talking to him about that, of really being afraid that I was going to let him down, you know, and that I wasn't going to be able to do it, but that, you know, I was going to give it everything I had, and that I hoped that that was enough. And it was, and those pictures are amazing. It's some of the work that I'm probably most proud of, actually. And so I sort of feel that energy here in this reading of just, you know, something here that it feels like a good challenge. Like that was a good challenge for me. Like I was in a pretty loving environment, you know. My friend really needed those pictures, you know, for his portfolio, and because he's always seeking funding and different things like that. Like one show funds another show, funds another show. So anyway, you know, he really needed me to show up and really needed me to do it. But he really believes in me, probably sometimes more than I may even believe in my own ability to do it. But the thing is that it's a loving environment where if I said this is the best I could do and I'm sorry these pictures aren't better, it's not that he would have really held a grudge against me. It's not that he would have not loved me anymore or not thought that I was amazing. I mean, he even recognized the challenge there. So it sort of feels like that kind of challenge here, Pisces, where, you know, sometimes when you're faced with something that you know you need to do, but it's not going to be, you sort of know up front that there's no way to achieve perfection in the situation. There's no way for you to come through the situation feeling like, oh yeah, I handled that perfectly. You know, sometimes there are situations in life where it's like you don't know what you're capable of until you're in it, until you're going through it. And, you know, you can sort of realize that the situation you're in doesn't have an answer that is like, just do this, this, and this, and then it's going to be fine. It'll be perfect. It's kind of like you have to feel your way through it. You just sort of have to step off the edge of the cliff and know that if you're doing it for the right reasons, if you're connected to some intuitive part of yourself that's telling you, yeah, this is the way to go. This is the way, this is what you need to do right now. And you're doing it based on some truth that it's like, I want to say, it doesn't just resonate within you, but it's like a deep inner knowing. Like, you know, there's no alternative choice. Like, you just have to take the leap and go through it. Then sometimes the best you can do is sort of visualize the best possible outcome and sort of rely on your beliefs, you know, rely on that, you know, whether you have faith, whether it is that you pray, whether it is that you know, whatever it is. I feel like this is some kind of growth through some kind of beautiful transition, or through, it almost feels like an opportunity. I mean, that show was definitely an opportunity for me. But it feels like it feels like there's this energy of be kind to yourself. Do not have some expectation of perfection. Do not have some kind of like, okay, yeah, I've even if this is like the first major test or the first major thing that you have really tried to achieve after some kind of big spiritual awakening or after some kind of big moment of enlightenment or something, it's like, be very kind to yourself. Understand that, just because that knowledge is in there, or just because, I guess now what it's showing me is that, some of the scenes that I photographed were not, I don't want to say they weren't amazing, they were real. That's what it is. They were real. And, I mean, now I'm getting this other message of, I took watercolor lessons for years. I watercolored. And, my teacher would always say, like, I would make a small mistake, or you would have, like, a really dark color on your brush, and you would be moving to the space that you needed to use it, and a drop would fall off. A little tiny microscopic drop would fall off on the paper. But every time you looked at the paper, you saw it. And she would always say, wait till it's finished, wait till it's done. You won't even notice it. You won't even see it. And she would like take the paper and walk, 5 feet, 6 feet, 8 feet away from you and say, do you see it from that place? And you'd say, no. And she'd say, okay, then don't worry about it. Just keep painting. But it would drive you crazy. Or you would like literally make a mistake, put too much paint on the paper and try to take it off. And then the paper gets really like these little balls on it, and it just looks terrible and it gets yucky. And she would say, you're not going to notice that. When the whole painting is done, you're not going to see that. No one's going to see that. You will see that because you know it's there, but no one that doesn't know it's there will not see it. And it's kind of like that. It's like, I don't know, take a step back, zoom out. If you're having a moment where you're really feeling like, I could have done better, I should have done better, or there was a better answer than that, or I shouldn't have done it this way, or something like that. There's just this energy of kindness to yourself, and of, the situation is challenging. It is not possible to be human and handle something perfectly. The word human has the word imperfect attached to it. Like, you're not ever going to be perfect. But this is a challenge, and it is something, I feel like one of the main purposes here is to sort of show you what you are capable of, or that you are capable of maybe more than you realize. And I think that while it may feel like whatever this is, it's important to sort of visualize the best possible outcome and just sort of hold that vision and sort of keep that as the place where you are trying to work toward, knowing that the river takes many bends before it gets to the ocean, and that whatever path the river takes, it's still gonna make it to the ocean, but I feel like with this habits on the bottom of the deck, it's kind of looking at your life and looking at, we have a bunch of 5-minute, 10-minute, 15-minute periods of time where we really could be doing more, or where, like, if you set your alarm 5 minutes earlier, you could do a guided meditation where you just really lay there and visualize the best possible outcome for your day. Or literally plan your day and feel how perfect and magical the day is going to be before your feet hit the floor. I guarantee you will have a better day if you practice that. So there's like these little habits that you can either build into your life, or that you can find time for, that could be really helpful, or that could, over the course of time, actually make a big impact in changing something or changing the way that you feel. For some of you, I feel like the challenge is that there may be something that you are ready to walk away from, or that you want to walk away from. This is what it's giving me. So I don't know, maybe this is very specific, maybe it's not meant for all of you, I don't know. But there's something here where it's like it's really challenging for you to let go of something or to walk away from something. Either it's just not possible at this time. Maybe it's a job that you want to leave, but you don't, until you find another job, you can't leave this job. And so it's sort of like accommodating it for the meantime, you know, and it may stretch you, it may ask a lot of you, but ultimately it is in your highest and best good, whatever this is. And when you are consciously creating your future, when you're consciously visualizing what it looks like beyond that point, what the best possible outcome is, and you're taking small free will choices and steps. Like, let's say you're trying to leave a job, okay, and you're not finding a job. Okay, so spend 5 minutes of your lunch break looking at new jobs and just applying. Even if you think, well, I'm not qualified for that, or, you know, I'd have to move for that, or whatever. Apply and let the universe open the path up for you. Let the universe show you. But, and I don't even think I want to say but right there. I just want to say, let the universe show you. It's an opportunity. Whatever this challenge is, it's an opportunity. It is. I feel like there's an opportunity to be led here by your intuition, by the universe, by signs and synchronicities. I think there's an opportunity here to, you know, whenever we're facing some kind of challenge, or whenever we are in a moment that is asking a lot of us, it feels like the hardest time in the world to add something else to our plate, like starting a new habit. But it's also sometimes the most productive time to start a new habit, because that habit can become your lifeboat. It can become your life ramp in that situation. I don't know. I'm going to leave that there, but that's what I'm feeling with all of these cards. It says on this contest, be yourself fully. You are without compare. A true winner of the only contest that matters. Yeah, see, it isn't about handling it perfectly. It is about doing your best, and being able to live with the result that you produce. And to be, I feel like, proud of it. I feel like there is like a sense of, you know, being proud of something here. So maybe for some of you, you're trying to separate from someone. Maybe you're trying to separate from a job. Maybe it's just, it feels like something that can't quite happen yet. Or, you know, it's like you sort of almost are acutely aware that you're in the middle of a transition, or you're trying to make it through, for some of you, like a desert, like a blank period, to get to the time where you're in a space where, you know, life is really happening, or where there's like an abundant flow. The habits you create in this period of time I feel like they're going to serve you in an even bigger and better way. But it's not for you to exhaust yourself, you know, trying to, I don't know, seek solutions or something. All right, you have this. These are your messages from this deck. This person has changed since you interacted with them in the past. They will either match your vibration, or you may find that you are both too different now. You have sensed something is off and your intuition is correct. This situation has more red flags than green, and it's best to walk away at this point. Yeah, see, you guys are ending something. You're walking away from something. I don't know what it is. A physical face-to-face meeting will occur between you and this person soon. What happens at this meeting is what you make of it. Okay, this is all in alignment. There is an imbalance of give and take in this relationship. Pull back if you've been over-giving yourself to this person, for they have been repelled by this energy. On the other hand, give more of it if you have been holding back too tightly, for they won't continue to chase you. Okay. I feel like there's something challenging in some type of relationship dynamic here. And again, please know this can be work, this can be an intimate relationship, this can be anything, it can be family, it can be whatever. The things that really stand out for me from this messaging is that if you've been overgiving, if you're someone who overgives, or someone who's very accommodating, it can be very, very hard to pull that energy back, or to not extend it in the first place. And this may be something for some of you. This may be the thing that some of you are working through. You may find that you are typically in an imbalanced relationship, possibly at work and at home, where you're doing the lion's share of the work everywhere. People aren't going to do for themselves what someone else is willing to do for them. And I mean, I think nothing teaches you this like motherhood or parenthood. If you are going to do for your kids, they will not learn to do for themselves. And it's the same in any kind of relationship. I just think that it's more obviously exemplified in a parent-child relationship. But the problem becomes that people can start to actually resent you for giving so much to them or being so giving, because you're sort of robbing them the chance of doing it, A, for themselves, or B, being able to be the giver in the relationship. Because you're so giving, you're meeting every need before they have the opportunity to do it themselves or to do for you. And maybe they want to feel generous of spirit, and they can't feel generous of spirit if they feel like they're constantly taking, if they're constantly the ones that are getting. And the thing is, nobody really is going to say, can you stop doing this for me because I would like to do it for myself? I mean, sometimes they do. Sometimes our kids grow up and say that to us. But it's not... It's foreign, and sometimes people don't even realize this is why they feel so stunted, or this is why they feel so smothered, or they feel so unable to be the giver. People like giving. It feels good, and conversely, I really don't think this for most Pisces, but it could be true. If you're someone that's been holding back, and it puts you in a position where you feel more comfortable because someone is always kind of coming towards you, or people have to come towards you, there's an energy of, people will do that until they get tired or their resources or are exhausted, right? And then they won't. They will stop. And if the thing really matters to you, and you don't want to lose it, then it's a good opportunity for you to try, even in little steps, even if it makes you feel very vulnerable or scared. Just think of the Knight of Pentacles. It's one step in the right direction at a time. It adds up. I feel like you're going to be having some kind of conversation. This goes back to how I felt in the beginning, in the very beginning of this energy. I feel like you're going to have some kind of conversation with someone, and it feels like it could be on the brink of conflict, or like it's maybe an emotional matter that is going to stir feelings within people that are charged, emotionally charged. And it feels like there isn't really a perfect way of handling this. There isn't really... I just get this sense of staying calm and not really reacting, like just... I don't mean artificially calm. I mean like actually tapping into your breath actually, you know, just keeping your feet firmly planted on the ground kind of energy. I don't think it's your real emotional upset. I feel like for a lot of you, you've already been through that part, and now it's a matter of some type of conversation, or I feel like if you were to get upset, it would be in response to whatever this person is saying. And there's just sort of a consciousness of, you know, not letting someone else's reaction or inability to process their own emotions to affect you and your ability to stay grounded and centered in, I feel like it's like wanting me to say in your argument, but I don't feel like that's the thing. I feel like it's in your own energy, like not letting yourself get bent out of shape because someone else is getting bent out of shape sort of energy here. I don't know, you guys. None of this is meant to like scare you or make you feel like there's some horrendous conflict coming or some horrible conversation that you want to avoid. It's just this energy of sometimes when you are prepared or have a little warning that maybe there is some kind of emotionally charged conversation coming, that you will remember. And even sometimes if you need to say, like, I need to use the restroom, and just walk away and just have some time to just breathe, to just remind yourself, like, you're fine, you know, like, whatever it is. It feels like this is about you walking out of this situation feeling good about yourself and being kind to yourself. It doesn't feel like there's like a real perfect, like, just do this kind of answer. It just feels like your goal isn't, it may be to hear or to listen to what the other person is saying. And it may be to say what you need to say. But beyond that, the goal here is to walk away and to be able to like live with yourself with what happened, or, you know, to be like, you know, okay, like that happened, like I'm fine, really everything is fine. But it's almost like putting you in touch with some other capability you have to be able to express yourself, or to be able to like even say what you need, or sort of draw a hard line, or have some type of strong boundary with someone here, or like I said, or a workplace. You know, there's something here with these red flags. There's something that you've seen. There's something that you know. You know, I don't think it's about saying, remember in 1999 when you said this, and remember in 2007 when this happened and you did this. It's not like that. It is like you have seen enough to be sure that where you're standing is where you mean to stand. And it's not about not letting someone move you off the space of where you stand, but it is about not letting someone move you out of your place of peace. I hope that makes sense. I don't even know. So you have this cassette tape on the bottom, outdated thinking, conditioning. It feels like we're just going around in the same cycle over and over and over again here. There's not really a lot of change. It's just like we've somehow entered into this loop of this is the way we do things, or this is how things are handled. And I feel like it's outdated. It's not the highest and best. It's not actually really working. I don't think it's actually really working for anyone. I just think that some people like to avoid change, or, you know, don't really know how to change things, or don't know any other way than this, it sort of feels like. So then you have the camera, reminiscing, keepsake. You have the clock, need time, takes time, in time, cycles, time to heal, progress. And then you have the dragonfly, lighthearted, finding out, coming to light, adapt, change, and heal. For some of you, you know, I feel like this is sort of a process of healing something, of possibly mending something, of possibly saying, you know, man, we really share so much history, or we really have something here that is worth, figuring this out. But first, the acknowledgement has to come that the way that it isn't working. Do you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, then we can move from there. And I do feel that there is almost this period of time where there is some thought given to what is this value of the shared history that we have together. And is this just a cycle where we really do have the capacity to change this and find a deeper level or a different level or some other way of handling something that can truly rectify the situation, or can truly seek to heal it, or put us on a new path, or start us a new cycle here. And for some of you, I feel like that is possible. And I feel like, there's almost this sense that almost at the end of this conversation, if we're able to keep our cool, and if we're able to just be calm, and we're able to just, I feel like, bring something to the light, it can be mended, it can be fixed, and we can walk away friends and feeling better about the situation. For other people, there is kind of this energy of, if someone cannot see or cannot acknowledge or admit that the way of doing something is not serving both people or is not helping the situation, then there is sort of this energy of, with the camera, of like, I'll cherish our history, I'll cherish the memories that we made, I'll cherish the times that we had, but it is time for me then to move on in a new cycle, because this outdated way of doing something, or this process that doesn't feel like it works anymore, isn't working for me. And so I can't stay in a situation that isn't in my best interest, is kind of how it feels. And it feels like walking away kind of lighter. And the dragonfly always signifies transition or change. And so there is this energy of, walking into this change lighter and more able to adapt to something new, because we're not trudging the old into the new space. So again, I am getting this energy of, closing out a cycle and starting a new one. And there is this energy of kind of heaviness related to the past cycle, where it's like, sometimes we can't just change everything all at once when we realize that we have to change it. Sometimes, let's dive into the tarot. We're using the Alleyman's Tarot today, which is a cool deck. There are more than one of some cards in it, and all the cards are from different decks. So that's cool. And they all have very different messages and meanings. Wow. Okay. Guys, like, for some of you, this can even be you with you and eliminating a way of thinking that's not serving you. We're getting that energy again here. Overcoming lower vibrational tendencies that don't help us here with the Strength card. And this is self-mastery. Sometimes the challenge, like, I keep being drawn back to this, so I don't know what, like, some of you may be in this situation where it's like you're in a job, the job is not for you. The job is, it's almost like it's really draining you. It's almost like it's really exhausting you, or there are parts of this job that are just like soul sucking, it feels like. And yet at the same time, there's sort of almost like an acknowledgement. Maybe you are close to reaching some level of pension, or maybe you're close to reaching some level of something, and you just kind of have to stay there until you get there. But it becomes increasingly more difficult. So there may be this energy of like having conversations with people to try to change the way things are done to make it better for you, to make it. And maybe you have people in your area that are receptive, and maybe you don't. But there is something here where, you know, getting through this experience, or, you know, sometimes having to find your way. Sorry, the dogs are playing. They have this little octopus toy, and it's almost like playing capture the flag with each other. But there's this energy of sometimes learning how to endure something, how to stick it out, how to, you know, find, I'm now seeing a book cover. Thich Nhat has a book that says, it's called like Finding Freedom Where You Are. It's this tiny little baby book. You probably can find it on Amazon. And it's actually like someone who was studying under him, who was writing down speeches that he gave. He went to a prison and he was speaking to prisoners about how to find freedom where they are, and about how to find the beauty and the fulfillment in life, even in prison. And he was talking to them about like even chewing their food slowly and allowing their saliva to like work on the food while it was in their mouth, so that they could actually understand what the food tasted like before just slamming it down, swallowing it, and turning it in their tray, you know, to actually be fully mindful and present in the experience of eating their food. This would help them find freedom where they are. And that is sort of this energy that I'm picking up on. That's just one example. It's actually, I think it's a great book, and it's a very quick read if you're interested in that. But it's kind of this energy of self-mastery that happens when we have to sort of live within some kind of limitation, but we have the ability to not see it that way. We have the ability to find the way to sort of change our perspective or change our experience of it ourselves. So you have the thing among reflections, and you have the Two of Wands. And the fastest way, you guys, to call abundance and the life that you want to you is to love the life that you have right now. And when we don't love the life that we have right now, or when we're finding fault in everything around us, or we're finding fault constantly in ourselves, or, you know, we find that judgmental, critical voice coming out in our own heads and coming out of our mouths, and, you know, we find ourselves on the point of frustration all the time, or, you know, like, as I like to say, it's like being edgy, you know what I mean? Like, you're right on the edge, you're right on the brink of, like, you know, behaving in a way that you don't want to behave in, because you feel pushed into that place. Instead of allowing yourself to be pushed into that place, we can say, I'm not, standing on the edge is not good for me, it's not good for you, it's not good for anyone in this situation. So let me figure out how to overcome those things that make me feel like they're pushing me to the edge. Let me find the freedom that exists within those things, okay? And with the Two of Wands here, it's a reminder that this is a choice. And that sometimes, like, there's this backpack and this hiking wand and this map here and this pencil here. And it's like, okay, so it may be that we're charting a course. It may be that we're saying, okay, you know, if we're stuck in a job we don't want to be stuck in, that we're going to start looking for a job. And that, you know, if we've been unwilling to move because of this reason or that reason, we're going to reevaluate that choice. We're going to look into it and say, you know, what is my stress level worth? What is my spirit worth? What is my, you know, what if I moved somewhere where the cost of living was a lot cheaper, where I could make close to the same amount of money doing what I'm doing? You know, what if I, you know, like we're going to look at all the possibilities of where this journey could take us. We're going to embrace the fact that we are in this situation, and then we're going to look at, you know, like if I were really thinking outside a box, if I were really going to an extreme and I were saying, you know what, let me just throw the baby out with the bathwater. What does that look like? What are the possible solutions to that? What, you know, if we are constantly problem focused, for one thing, that's the worst thing that we can do with the collective energy. Like if you're always watching the news and you're always like consumed with, well, this could go wrong or that could go wrong, or we could lose our democracy, or we could lose this, or this is terrible, or these people are terrible, or that group of people has this problem, or da 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 da, then you're part of the problem. Period. You are part of the problem. If that is where your energy is at, that if that's where your focus is, that's where your energy is at. And there is no way to find a solution when you're in that kind of energy. This is why I do not watch TV. And news outlets, no matter who they are, no matter what they are, they're always trying to push their agenda. Always. They want you to think a certain way. And that's human. That's the human part of the equation. And so it's very hard to be unbiased in this world. And so, you know, where we have to always be is not looking at the problem, saying, okay, I see the problem, or okay, this is what I feel needs to be addressed. And then, okay, how many different solutions can I find to this? Not the one I like the best, let me stop right there. No, let me look at all the solutions, because then you're going to be solution guided. You're going to be solution energy. You're going to be solution focused. And once you have that focus, all you will see is solutions. You will say, okay, that's the problem. Well, then there are all of these solutions I can come up with, because no matter what the problem, there are always a ton of solutions available. It's not just one solution for anything. With the Five of Swords, it is sort of like when the problem is this mirror is all broken. The problem is, you know, so can we fix it? If so, how can we fix it? You know, what can we do here to rectify or remedy the problem? Has to be our focus in all things. And with strength here and capability, you know, when we are solution focused and when we are looking at, okay, you know, how can I navigate this situation? Like I told you with my neighbor the other day, I mean, my neighbor's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I would completely write him off and never speak to him and not even look at him and just completely ignore him, which isn't maybe the most loving thing to do, but like also, you know, turn the other cheek. But my husband, he is a very solution-driven person, and he is also very patient, and he is extremely loving. Everything he does has that foundation of love. And, you know, he stood out there and talked to this guy forever. And, you know, I was just like, this is ridiculous, you know. But, you know, haven't heard a thing about him since. Yeah, look at this. See? Okay, I think there's more than one answer to this problem, to whatever this is that is coming up here, Pisces. You have the Eight of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Princess of Wands. And the Eight of Wands, this is communication. This is that conversation. It does feel like there is some kind of big conversation coming up here, Pisces. I don't know if this is you with you. I mean, I don't know if this is you with a particular, like an intimate partner. I think it could be different for a lot of people. But remember how I was saying, it's about like not being on the edge, not allowing yourself to get edgy. It's to stay centered in your space. And that's what I'm getting from this King of Wands. It's like to remember what your focus is. What is it that you want? You want to find a solution to the problem. You want something to either make it bearable for you to live out your time in a space that you're not able to leave at this time, or for you to find a solution that allows you to walk away feeling that you can live with this answer, or that, you know, it's not like I got what I wanted. I don't feel like there is like a particular, like, this is what I want. I feel like what I want is, you know, the ability to come to some kind of amicable solution or place with this, or you know, even with myself about this or what happened here. You know what I'm saying? And so when you keep that as your pillar of consciousness of, okay, we need to both feel good about this, or we need to all feel good about this, or, you know, even if I can move the needle slightly to the other side of the equation, then I will feel better. And I'll just keep pushing that needle a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, until, you know, this is either not toxic, or, you know, we are gradually releasing this old way of doing things, or this old way of looking at things. You know, or even with the Page of Wands on the bottom of the deck, you know, this can talk about how now we're preparing ourselves for a new adventure, or like we're able to take that new leap of faith, or that we have everyone on board of exploring all the possible solutions to overcome these obstacles. So it's a very healthy, wide-ranging perspective here that seems to be emerging from, I feel like it is your energy. I feel like it is, you know, Pisces are closet leaders. You know, they really are. They lead more quietly. They don't like walk in the room and be like, okay, look at me now, listen to me, blah, blah, blah. They have a tendency to like lead more by example, or by letting everyone voice strong opinions and then being the last person to say, or, you know, we could just do this. And then people being like, right, we could just do that. You know what I mean? You have the Five of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. You have the Queen of Swords, the Six of Wands, and the Fountain. And, you know, Pisces, I feel like you may have some kind of fear of being left out in the cold, or being alone, or, you know, like if you have to stay with a job for so many years to get your retirement or something, and you're close, but you're not there, and it's getting really untenable. The fear could be that, you know, you're going to lose everything, or you're not going to get that retirement, or whatever it is. There is some kind of loss that is weighing on your mind, that is balancing out this energy of wanting to take charge and needing things to change, or needing to change something here. With the Queen of Swords and Lady Discernment, you know, there's this energy of, okay, you know, if you can keep a clear head, if you can stay above the confusion, if you can kind of hear what people are saying, or what is kind of going on there, but not let it suck you into it, and you can kind of stay above it, and you can keep this solution-oriented focus, you're going to be successful. The answer will come from you. You will be a wealth of answers. You will be a wealth of solution. You will, instead of having this result of, you know, what you are afraid of, you will have more than enough. You will have abundance. You may even get your cake and eat it too, kind of is how this fountain feels with the Six of Wands. You may, like, in other words, you may even be recognized for being able to solve some kind of problem, or to like re-infuse life. Have you ever worked in an environment where it's like nobody really wants to be there? Everybody freaking hates it, and it's just gotten awful, and the productivity is down. You know, all these things are going wrong, and it just sucks. And, you know, then somebody says, well, hey, you know, and nobody even really cares enough to even find an answer anymore, you know? And then somebody says, well, you know, like, let's just take one step in this direction. What if we did this? What if we changed this one thing? And then that one thing changing sort of makes it more bearable, sort of makes it more energizing, you know, okay, well then what if we change this other one thing, you know? And it's like, that is the energy of the Knight of Pentacles. It's just taking one solid step in a direction after another, but not trying to change everything all at once. But you definitely have what it takes to find the solution to this problem that has a net result of abundance, rather than this feeling of loss and loneliness. You definitely, as long as you keep a clear head and stay really focused on the solution, it's like, I feel like you will even be, it will even sort of work out better than you hope, because there's this energy of someone acknowledging that, you know, it's almost like a sense of gratitude, the Six of Wands, of like, you know, I realized that my success was tied to your success. I feel that with all these wands poking up, and that you took charge of the success. And because of that, now we're all elevated. We're all experiencing success because of you. So I don't know what this is. This could be like a situation even with an intimate partner where it's kind of like, maybe you have to cut them off. Maybe you have to be the one that says, listen, I can't keep giving to you anymore. I've given. We've been going around in the same circle for a really freaking long time, and it's not going anywhere. We're not making progress. And even though, you know, I feel like this is what I want, and this is, you know, you're the person that I want to be with, whatever, I can't keep giving to the situation. I have to look at alternative routes to reach where I'm trying to go here. Because the risk I run in continuing to put my energy here is that I'm going to be alone forever. You know what I mean? And then it's like, you know, with the Queen of Swords, she can be an ultimatum. She can be a harsh conversation. She can cut you off. But it's having a clear head. This isn't doing this out of some form of spite. It's doing it because you are solution focused, and you're seeing that sometimes the solution lies in this space, and that it may be the only thing we haven't tried at this point. You feel what I'm saying? And with the Six of Wands and the Fountain, it's like this may be the very thing that was necessary to create the environment to have success and to find abundance. Guys, this is just like, with the Three of Swords, the Empress in reverse, and the Seven of Swords, this is like, you know how if you think about a problem all the time, first of all, wherever your focus goes, your energy flows. And this is what I was saying about the news. And if you're like focused on everything that can go wrong all the time, like, it's good to be informed. It's good to know what's happening. It's good to know what is going on. It is not good to dwell on what is wrong and to stay there and to continue to think about it. Those thoughts create suffering, and on top of it, they create misalignment. They get us off course. They make us so focused on the problem that we aren't even able, we don't know where that problem begins and ends to even find the solution for it. And our thinking mind has taken over, and it's not taking us in a good place. It's taking us toward more suffering, and it's taking us away from our alignment. And oftentimes the suffering is caused by the misalignment. And what happens when we are in this many swords, you know, this is 10 swords right here. We take ourselves away from our ability to co-create. We take ourselves away from our ability to find the solution. We take ourselves away from being able to manifest and create the world that we want to live in and the life that we're trying to create for ourselves. So we exacerbate our suffering, we intensify our suffering. And so there's this energy of, you know, if you're in this energy where it's like you are really focused, or your mind keeps taking you back to there's this problem, there's this problem, there's this problem, or there's just this problem and I can't seem to find my way out of it. I keep thinking about it, and I can't maybe even stop myself from thinking about it. Then it's like you have to say, okay, what happens if I just clear my mind? Because you will never find a solution here. No. You won't. The Queen of Swords is someone who has completed this sword cycle, and she has learned from all of those experiences, and she's utilizing that knowledge from what she learned from having those experiences to see the whole thing clearly and to choose the path, the focus, to find the solution and to kind of rise above the situation. When we are in the Three of Swords and the Seven of Swords, you know, you can't find the solution. It's hard to even get your mind moving in a direction that is solution oriented. Your mind will take you down a path of there's this problem, there's this problem, there's this problem. The problem is, like, I can't stop thinking about this person, or the problem is I can't stop thinking about what happened here, or what this person said, or the fact that I have to get up tomorrow and go to work, or the fact that, like, you know, I'm living for Friday, and then Friday comes, and then Sunday comes, and then I'm like, I spend all day Sunday dreading that Monday's going to come, and that I'm going to have to go back to work, and but I have to stay there. I can't find a solution. There is no solution, because if I don't stay there for 2 more years, then I can't get my retirement, and so I have to stay there for 2 more years, but I don't know if I can bear 2 more years like this. Well, then don't bear 2 more years like this. Then don't stop looking at it that way. That's the thing. You have to reset your mind. The way to reset your mind is to clear it. The way to reset your mind is to say, okay, this is not serving my highest and best, for freaking sure. And part of the problem, part of the suffering is created by this way of thinking. And this way of thinking is taking me out of alignment with my true limitless capability that I possess. That is that I am the co-creator of my life. I have completely given up my power to these thoughts and this way of thinking. And so in order to stop that, I have to stop, and I have to reset, and I have to reconnect with this energy, with the Empress energy. And I've got to turn her right around, and I've got to put these guys in reverse. All right. These swords are connected to that 5 of Pentacles. And you know, if your mind is constantly focused on, well, the worst thing that could happen is I could end up alone, or I could end up poor or impoverished, or, you know, not having what I need. Yeah, you got something really good on the horizon here, guys. You just maybe can't see it quite yet. You're in a transition. The thing is, if I can't see a solution, there's a solution is always there. If I can't see the solution, then what I need to do is I need to look at the way that I'm looking at it. I need to look at what I'm telling myself about it. And I need to not automatically jump from here's the problem to see there's no solution. I need to say, no, I know there's a solution. I know there's an alternate way of being, because there always is. There's always a gift in the darkness. Rest assured, yin and yang promise us that there is always a gift in the darkness, and there always is. And so I'm just not seeing it right now. So let me try to clear my thoughts, or let me try to just let go of this narrative I'm telling myself, and let me just sit for a moment and focus on what are all the possible solutions. What is a small thing that I could change that could really, really help the situation? And the first small thing that you can really change is how much you allow yourself to ruminate on that way of thinking, okay? With the sun here, you have clarity. And with clarity comes healing, a feeling of a sense of well-being, a sense of peace, a sense of prosperity, a sense that anything is possible, optimism. And so it is possible to find the light in the darkness. You know, speaking of yin yang, you have the sun next to the black moon. I mean, seriously, you guys. And, you know, it's interesting because this rabbit, I guess, is in transition, right? And it's this Alleyman Tarot is such an interesting deck, because it has cards from every deck. You have this, not every deck, but like a lot of different decks. So there's a lot of variety here. And I feel like the cards that come out are always just so the cards that you need to know. With Giuseppe here, it says, draw 3 cards from anywhere. If they do not bring you happiness, put them back where you found them and draw 3 more. Okay, so come up with 3 solutions. If they don't make you feel better, if they don't make you feel like, okay, there's something different possible, then put them back and come up with 3 more solutions. You may repeat this as many times as you'd like. If any other players are looking or feeling left out, share some with them. So there is this energy of, you know, we do have this ripple effect too. So once we start looking at the solution, once we change our energy or our attitude, you know, if you trace a movement back, like if you're looking at a place of work, right? And you are wow, how interesting. If you're looking at a place of work and you're and it's in a really bad energetic state, if you trace that energetic state back to its beginnings, it probably came from one person who became friends with another person who started saying, this is wrong, that's wrong, this is unfair, that's not fair, and then and then it grows. It's a ripple effect. So two, we can have a ripple effect in the opposite direction, right? Like if this is, you know, a relationship, it's like one person becomes unhappy, or one person it feels like there is some kind of imbalance, or one person feels some kind of way, and then, you know, they start shutting down or they start closing off, and then the other person is left there saying, well, why did this happen, and searching for all the reasons why it could have happened or why it might have happened. And it may have no basis in any of those things. It may just be a seed that is inside that person of fear of commitment or fear of being in a relationship, and it may have no basis in anything that has transpired in the relationship other than maybe that person got feelings for that person. You feel what I'm saying? And so then the other person starts going down a bad path, going, well, okay, maybe I did this, and then starts trying to change the things that they think it might be. But you can't change what someone else is thinking or what someone else is feeling. Like you can't go in there and unplant that seed, and especially if that person's not saying anything to you, and especially if you are kind of looking outside going, okay, well, we had this conversation, and then they started being kind of quiet, and they started being slower to respond to my text, and then they started sending one word, so it had to have come from that conversation. Maybe it didn't come from that conversation at all. Maybe they called their mother, and their mother said, I don't like you being in this relationship. I don't think this is the time in your life where you should be in a relationship. You know, and then here you are trying to change all these things that weren't broken, and maybe changing things that this person really appreciated and enjoyed about the relationship. You see what I'm saying? So if instead of trying to find the problem, we're just always trying to find the solution, and we're just always looking for, okay, you know, I don't know. I think I've said it, okay? But then you have the Ace of Cups with the horizon here. So there is some kind of beautiful new beginning available on the horizon. The sun will always rise, right? And you have the Seven of Pentacles here on the bottom of the deck, which is telling you, in divine timing, it will all work out. In divine timing, the sun is going to rise. You will be happy. There will be happiness. You will understand this. It will be clear to you, and you will heal from it, and you will... you know, this can be the meeting of a soulmate. Maybe you will meet someone else. Maybe this will have the opportunity to come together when the time is right, when it is meant to be. There is some kind of new opportunity coming here, but it comes from this cup running over of love, of solution, of, you know, here's how we're going to fix this, or, you know, here, I may not be able to change your way of thinking, and I may not be able to get you to tell me how it is that you are thinking or what you're thinking, but what I can do is I can be part of the solution. However, I can find the way. And if that means cutting you off, then that's what that means. And then maybe you will feel like, instead of continuously giving and trying to fill this cup with a hole in the bottom of it and draining myself doing it, maybe you will figure out how to plug the hole in the bottom of your cup. And then when you do, maybe you're going to come back around, and then maybe we can give this another try. Maybe we can heal this when the timing is better. You know what I mean? All right, so let's clarify this. Wow, Hangman, Temperance, yes. And a card went out. I thought. Strength. I have my reading glasses on and I can't see far away when I have my reading glasses on. So you're getting 3 major arcana here to clarify this energy. The strength is coming out for the second time. Some of you may be dealing with a Leo. You also have the energy of Sagittarius here. But you have the strength in the sun a lot, it feels like. So it can even be that something may be changing or a solution may be found around the time of Leo season, which happens in the middle of July. So maybe like a month from now to like 2 months from now. Things may be very, very different. You may have a completely new perspective on this entire situation. It's really striking me how this perspectives card is very similar to this horizon card. It's kind of like, you know, when we shift the way we're looking at things, when we don't allow ourselves to get deeply rooted in one perspective or one, keep going around the same thing over and over again, going like, you know, okay, if this, then that, if this, then that, if this, then that. Well, it's that. It has to be that because I've done if this, then that, and I keep getting the same that, so it's got to be that. You know, if we turn that voice off, if we turn that dial down, that's exactly what you do when you stop meditating. You allow yourself the space to find a solution. You allow yourself the space to like at least cut off this thing, this narrative that you keep repeating in your own head that isn't getting you the result you want. You know what I mean? And there is this energy of mastering the self here through this entire process of having to go through what you have to go through here. And you are coming out on top. You are coming out regrounded, recentered, and balanced. And it feels like there is a coming together here of something, you know, depending on what your situation is, what we're talking about in this reading, it's a general reading. But with Temperance and the Strength card and the Perspective, the Hangman card, there is this energy of, oh, okay, I finally found the perspective that allows me to see this thing in a way that is healthy, in a way that brings me a sense of well-being, in a way that brings me to a place of peace and acceptance. And the whole process of this experience has in some ways shown me what I am capable of, and that I am stronger than I realize, and that I am strong enough to always find a solution in every problem, that I don't have to stay focused on the problem itself. And with the Temperance on the bottom of the deck, there are these 2 things that are coming together in perfect harmony, in a balanced way, in a grounded way, in a centered way. So this can be, you know, the coming together of some kind of relationship or the healing of some kind of relationship. You know, whether it's work or an intimate partnership or whatever, it just feels like, okay, because I found my center, because I did not allow my thoughts to misalign me and keep me in a state of perpetual suffering, because I found a way to give myself space to find the clarity that I need to be able to find the answers and the solution and to stay solution focused. Now I am experiencing this really beautiful period of time where, you know, not only am I happy, not only do I have clarity, not only am I free from all that confusion and the sinking feeling of an unanswerable problem, I now am in a position where I understand myself better. I understand how to kind of master myself and master my thoughts and not let the problem become bigger than me or become bigger than become the biggest thing in the room. You know what I mean? And I have been able to find an answer. And once you can find that answer, then you can balance things, heal things, and bring things together. All right, guys. I'm going to get you some messages. My gosh, this is a very long reading. I hope it was helpful. I hope it brought you some insight here. If you're dealing with a water sign, I knew exactly what I was doing. I feel so happy with you. So many things remind me of you. You were the best thing in my life, and forgiveness, forgiving yourself or another will help you move forward. If you're dealing with a fire sign, you are getting, I still have feelings for you. I wish things could be different. Your intellect arouses me. I wish we could go back. If you are dealing with a earth sign, I know I crossed the line with you. We both know I'm not the one for you. Boundaries, firm boundaries are needed now. I know you don't feel the same. I feel like that's like a self-deprecating energy. If you're dealing with an air sign, self-care, clear your energy field and focus on yourself before acting. I can't be with you. I lost myself for a little while and you and I were too young. All right, guys, this is what I have for you. I hope it helps. I hope it brings you some peace and clarity. If it does, let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Until next time, I send you off with all my very best. Always, always, always. Bye-bye.